How we doing, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Richie Hicks Jr. Sports Podcast. Tonight is our Super Bowl 59 preview. Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs doing business. It is going to be a war, a rematch. And I think in most people's estimations at this point, the two best teams undeniably in the NFL are playing this weekend, which is something you want to see, because you don't want to have that kind of dud Super Bowl. I am your host, Richie. I am fired up. This is going to be a hell of a game. With me tonight, my man, out in Haven, Florida, Mr. Brett Bandick. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing great, baby. It's been a hot minute. I'm ready to talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. The big dance, get our predictions in and see how it plays out. Awesome intro, by the way. I loved it. Uh, it would have been. I feel like I was Batman for a minute. I feel like a little Batman music kind of playing. So
Well, I deserve no credit whatsoever. Shouts out to Mr. Nast, the Basement Show. Make it a point to watch those guys. They do trivia night. They do
yeah.
sports. But shout out John Nast sending me that. Really did a great job on that. We got some more company coming in. Got my man Idris Salam, a.k.a. Bosco, from the Bronx.
Yo, I thought, man, for a minute there, I thought y'all canceled y'all signed on with the DEI. I was like, man, this not even add him.
Like, where'd he go? Where'd he go?
What up, y'all?
Good to see you, Idris. Well, see you sort of. I know that you had a little bit of a rough day, but I'm glad that you were able
Yeah,
to make it nonetheless. I hope you're feeling a little better, first and foremost.
yeah. Hey, Brett, my niece is in the car. She's a Patriots fan too. In fact, I'm gonna let you see her.
Oh, her. How you doing?
All right, y'all. I'm gonna keep the camera on me. I'm in the car.
And, his co-host at Casual Convo, Coco, she's also a Patriot fan. And,
Yeah,
what is at stake here, boys? Number one, it's a dynasty, because it's an uncertifiable dynasty. The opportunity for the Chiefs to win 3 in a row,
yeah.
which has never happened in the Super Bowl era.
Mhm.
And every time period in this great league, you've had a dynasty, whether it was the
Right.
more recent one, New England Patriots, you had a Cowboy dynasty, you had a 49er dynasty, the Steelers,
Steelers.
and of course
Yeah.
the legendary Packers of the 60s, which whom this trophy bears the name of their coach, the Vince Lombardi Trophy. Um, Idris, you have
Yo,
a relative that is going to be contributing to this game, Mr. Aaron Moorhead, wide receiver coach of those Eagles. And he has quite the dynamic duo in Devontae Smith and AJ Brown. A lot of ways to dissect this game.
yeah. I think it's gonna be interesting, man. I think the X factor is still gonna be Saquon Barkley because even the Chiefs had a hard time stopping James Cook and Jalen Hurts coming out. I mean, not James Cook and Josh Allen. So they're going to have to deal with that. And I think Saquon's going to have a big day, to be honest with you. And I hope he does for the sake of our show, because I think, well, a win
I
for
do little
Philly is a win
subliminals
for
like,
us.
why did I just put up that Packer and Eagle helmet? Because that was Saquon's first game with the Eagles in
Yeah,
Yeah.
Brazil, no less. And his first
in
play as an
Brazil.
Eagle, he fell. I think it's safe to say that he has made up for that first play as an Eagle.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, and you know what the thing about it? If they win the Super Bowl, you got to. He has to have the greatest season for a running back. 2,000 yards and a Super Bowl. You know,
Changing
it's
teams
got
in
to
the
be.
division.
Yeah,
And truthfully, yeah, undeniably, his best season as a pro. I personally think it goes without saying it's his best season since his rookie campaign of 2018. I saw his first game live against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Brett, it's very rare that running backs get this MVP award. Very
Mm,
rare. Do you think that Barkley should get it over some of these quarterbacks this year? Do you think he should be the guy?
absolutely. Is that a real question? Come on, man. Listen, look, he deserves it. He's he's gone over the expectations that I'm pretty sure I set for him, along with the Eagles. It's his first year with a new team, the same division. Tough schedule. And he's put up unbelievable numbers. And he's sat on the bench, a couple times there to let his boys eat. You know what I mean? Like there was, I don't know what
Yeah, he
game that.
showed mercy. He showed
Yeah,
mercy in the first Giants
Yeah.
game, and in
yeah,
this, and this is something to consider, Bretsky. No, he did not get the rushing record because
no,
he got pulled back final game of the year.
yep,
But for the crowd that says O.J. Simpson, you can make an argument for him being the best because of the shortened seasons back then. Eric
mhm,
Dickerson
Yeah.
had played less games, but to be fair,
Yeah.
Saquon Barkley had less carries. So it's a
Right.
never ending debate.
yeah,
And truthfully, you know, it's a very tough one. But if I'm just going to be completely fair, I'm going to say it's OJ because of the fact of the elements he did it in towards the end of the year in that game against the Jets. And the other part of it would be the fact of the shorter season. But if we're
Yeah.
if we're only exclusively comparing Dickerson and Saquon Barkley, I think you undeniably have to give the leg up to Saquon.
I do.
Yeah. I think with Saquon, oh my bad. I think with Saquon also, like you said, he left a lot of yards on the field. With us, he got 187, which is kind of a bad number for us, but he could have got 200 easy. He got taken out of a lot of games. He could have very well got, you know, 2,200 yards this year, easily.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
yeah.
no,
I
he
mean,
he deserves
go
it.
ahead, Bresky. Go ahead.
And today in a quarterback-driven league, for a running back to get the numbers that he's gotten all season long, and it's been consistent with him. I mean, it hasn't been. It's not a fluke. Like he's had consistent numbers all season long. Um, I think he's for sure the best back that's going into this full matchup. Not what they had 2 years ago. You know what I mean? I think you might see the same layout that we had 2 years ago, but then and
Playoffs.
that's a whole nother ball of wax there. You know what I mean? So no, man, it's going to be interesting. So, but it's going to be a good matchup. And Rich, like you said, it's the two best teams in the NFL matching up at the big dance. So we'll see how it plays out. So can't wait to see everybody's prediction.
Yeah, and the thing too, Bretsky. The thing too is what's interesting about this is you have history of rematches over the course of the great game called the Super Bowl. And what Philly is trying to avoid is to become the eighth team to lose the immediate rematch in NFL history. Most recently, a team that has lost both the first game and the rematch would be the Rams. They did it in two different cities playing your Patriots.
Mhm.
Prior to that, the Patriots against my Giants. Prior to that, you would have to go back now. You got the Bengals losing twice to the 49ers. And just after that, you had the Bills losing twice to the Cowboys. Um, and the Cowboys Steelers of the 70s, the Cowboys ultimately did get redemption in the 90s, but the original matchup went to the Steelers. And that was the reason why the Steelers were the team of the 70s and the Cowboys were not. Because if you go 3-3, you could make an argument in that decade that they essentially just split the decade, and it would be a debate who was the real team of the 70s. But the Jackie Smith catch that should have been, that wasn't, ultimately favored Pittsburgh. Another thing, too, just to divert it for a second, Kendrick Lamar, man, the 5-time Grammy winner just this year alone, and I know Idris is going to speak on this too. You're talking about a diss track that got
Mm.
Best Song of the Year, Idris. That is unheard of. He's performing at the Super Bowl. Uh, it's over for Aubrey, Idris. It is over for Aubrey.
It's overdue. I've been in the hip hop since basically its inception. And I've seen a lot of battles over the years. You know, KRS One, MC Shan, Internet, MC Light. I've seen a lot, and the greatest one, Kumo D and Boogie B. Sauce. But in the last 20 years, this has to be the biggest destruction of a rapper I've seen. I'm
Bro,
serious because he basically,
he, God, he got him
man,
on
he
every
he
conceivable level, Idris.
he
I
got him to the
thought,
point to, yeah,
I'm sorry, I thought that when Jay-Z
yeah,
dropped the takeover, I thought
yeah,
it was the end of Nas. And Nas
right,
elevated his game with possibly the greatest comeback ever in Ether.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
the notorious B.I.G. was victimized on Hit 'em Up, and he comes back with Long Kiss Goodnight.
right. I forgot about that.
LL Cool J got victimized on Second Round Knockout by Cannabis. And LL
My
Cool J
cannabis.
reminded a lot of people that he's not just a dude that does a lot of pop songs for the ladies, and he will come in and go for your jugular, as he
Yep,
did on The Ripper Strikes Back.
right.
But this is the problem, Idris. This is the problem, Brett.
Yeah.
Aubrey does not have one of those in him.
No, he doesn't.
Good
He
night.
doesn't. And see,
Good
that's the long
night.
kiss goodnight right there. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
he he don't have it in him. He's too. He doesn't have it. I mean, I don't know how he comes back from this. Of course, he has his loyal fans, but Kendrick basically
Oh, no.
took him inside out. He turned him inside out, man.
The way Jay-Z said it on the takeover, I hit you ants with a sledgehammer. He literally
Yeah,
destroyed him on every conceivable level. And let's be
yeah,
honest, Idris. Drake is a great entertainer in the sense that he puts on good concerts. I'm not going to take that away from the guy. And he's probably a nice
right.
guy. He's probably a nice guy. But I haven't seen this kind of career destruction and just dismantlement probably since 50 Cent and Gyro. I mean,
I
just
think what
completely
with
obliterated this dude.
I think what Drake made his mistake was Drake's not a gangster. He's none of that.
No, no,
But
no,
he
no. And
tried
it's
to come
okay to
back
not
the
be a
same way,
gangster, but you
like
got to stay in your lane.
yeah. See, he tried to come out of his lane. You are a pop star. You're a rap star, but you're a pop star, and you can't. You Kendrick is from the hood. You can't go against a guy like that. Nah. And just like that, Kendrick, it's over, man.
And the reason I bring this up, not just because he's doing the Super Bowl halftime show,
Hmm.
is because there is a lawsuit that Drake is suing Universal Music Group, which is even weirder because of the fact that both artists are represented by them, but because he's going for defamation of character, things of that nature. And you know as well as I do, Idris, Brett knows this too. He grew up in the 90s.
Yep,
You settle it by coming back,
on the mic.
or you bow out and give the respect to the guy who took you out, but you do not sue. Like, what era
You
is
do
this,
not sue.
bro?
You do not
Defamation of
sue.
character? You're an
Yeah.
actor, bro. You're Jimmy from
Of
Degrassi. I
all
remember my little sister used to watch this clown.
look
Yeah.
of all the music genres out there, hip hop is the one where you settle it on the mic.
Yeah.
And I must say, and I must say, Kendrick did something that I myself and many others wanted to see for a long time. And that was this guy getting exposed. I don't wish bad on anybody, but stop faking it. Just stop faking it, man. It had to happen. I'm glad it happened. And I'll be honest with you. Machine Gun Kelly probably feels a little better right now because he might have been faking it a little, but his showing was a lot better than anything that Drake's going to put together.
Yeah.
Drake better get his team of Ghost Riders going because he can't do it. He cannot.
Listen, if I don't see any boobs in the Super Bowl like we did when Janet Jackson, that's miserable.
I don't know. It'd be nice. I mean, I'm not a sexy red fan or anything like that, But if she comes out there
Show
and
me
reveals
something.
herself,
Of course, there's a little bit of controversy before we
or
get it back on the
Glorilla or
focus of the
somebody,
game. And the reason I brought that up, like I said, what is he gonna do this track at halftime?
comes back from this. They say he has his loyal fans and everything, but I don't know how.
It's
But he got
over,
exposed,
bro.
man. He got
I
exposed, dude.
hear rumors he's got a Trump um, Trump disc out there
No,
about it.
it's over, bro. It's
He
over,
better
bro.
have that. That's the
It's
only way he's
over,
coming
bro.
back.
He has
Get the
Rumors
no
rap. Get the
chance.
rap.
I'm just curious to see if Kendrick, given the fact that there's a legality thing, if he hones
Yeah,
back and doesn't play this during the Super Bowl. I personally think he's going to hammer him one final time in front of the country.
I
But
think so too. Because
moving it
people gonna want
along,
him to.
back to
People
the
there to hear him
sports.
do that. You know.
Mm.
No, before we get back into the Super Bowl, big news in the NBA today as Jimmy Butler
Mm-hmm.
is headed to Golden State, boys.
Mhm.
Um,
That's a game changer, man.
that was that was a trade that had to happen. It was getting toxic and cancerous in Miami.
Yeah.
But one thing I will say, the big
Uh
ticket
huh.
Kevin Garnett really knocked it out of the park. And he
Yeah.
flat out said that guys like Jimmy, who when things get difficult don't want to do their job, could be
Hmm.
ruining it for future players with
Yeah.
guaranteed money. And
Yeah.
Garnett takes that kind of stuff personal because he sees himself as a pioneer, as one of the guys who allowed today's players to get paid like that. And I gotta say, I'm on the side of Garnett with this one.
I
Well,
agree, man.
Garnett.
Brett. Not good, Brett.
No, no, go ahead, Idris. You're good. Go ahead.
Cool. I agree, man. And Jimmy Butler's been a headache everywhere he's went. Chicago, Milwaukee, Minnesota, Miami. Everywhere he's gone, it's the same old
Very
stuff.
disappointing.
And you get tired of it. It's a shame because he's a good player. He gets the job done. It's just he's just so I don't know. He's so much of a bitch. Just to be honest with you,
But the
I
thing
didn't want
is,
to use that, but he's so much of a bitch. You know?
Mm.
getting involved in a championship culture
Yeah,
like that of the Warriors, you got leaders like Steph, leaders
yeah,
like Draymond, and a very good
yeah.
coach in Steve Kerr, who has always been
Hmm.
an advocate for letting guys be themselves. But
Hmm.
in order for this to turn around and for Golden State to make a run and for
Yeah,
this to work in general, they're
yeah,
they're gonna have to hone him in and say, this is the way we do it over here. Because whenever
yeah.
the Golden State Warriors have encountered players
Hmm.
that are not buying into the bigger picture, those players ended up finding new addresses rather quickly.
Right. Gotta
And
go.
I don't think the Warriors would have done this if they felt that they couldn't fix the Jimmy Butler problem that you just alluded to. But I will say, it's going to be interesting to say the least. We, of course, saw that blockbuster with Luca and AD, which is quite shocking. On a lesser note, our New York Knicks move on from Jericho Sims. Golf clap on that.
Yeah.
Mm.
But
I want to say
it's
something about the
insane.
Luca thing right quick. Um, this is just my theory. Now, Luca is up for a contract at the end of the season. Of course, he's not going to get the super max that he would have got in Dallas.
Mhm.
But what if, just a what if Dallas made the trade for Luca to go to the Lakers, 80 to come to Dallas? Luca doesn't sign the contract with the Lakers extension, and he comes back to Dallas.
I
Mm.
I don't see your theory for the simple fact that
No. It's a conspiracy theory.
no
I
conspiracy
call
theory.
it.
Well, this is
Yeah,
my thing. They didn't like his health habits. They didn't like the fact that he
yeah,
drinks and just seems to, he's been spending a lot of time in the
right.
kitchen, so to speak. And I just don't think that Dallas ownership was very keen because when you're going to give a guy a supermax deal, you want him to
Mhm.
have the longevity of a LeBron James or a
Right,
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar or a Kobe Bryant,
right.
and quite frankly, with the way the organization feels that Luka was treating his body, I
Yeah.
don't think that they saw it, and as AD goes, we know what he brings when he's
Hmm.
healthy. He's a premier defensive center
Hmm.
that can also be a top two scorer on any team he plays for. But truthfully, I think the Mavericks get worse. And I think the Lakers are right around the same because Luka is a phenomenal talent. But I have a hard time believing that if he couldn't win the championship alongside Kyrie Irving in his prime, he's not going to win the championship next to LeBron James at his twilight.
He doesn't play defense.
Can I? Let me think about something, fellas.
Uh huh.
Uh, Number one, I'm gonna start with Jimmy buckets. Number one, I think this boosts the state team and our game up and game rich.
Uh
We'll,
huh.
we'll we'll switch that up real quick. Um, but secondly, I think he doesn't have. He said he didn't have joy or be. Uh, what are the words that he used? I can't remember the exact words that he used, but he wasn't happy in Miami.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, in all honesty, he's not going to be any more happier in state than he is in the Western
He doesn't
Conference.
like structure, man.
The Western Conference is much more stacked than the Eastern Conference. We can all agree to that.
That's a valid point.
Yeah.
You know, they
He
were the
doesn't like
eight.
structure, man.
They were the eight seed what 2 years ago and made it all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals with Boston.
Yeah.
Or they made the finals that year. I'm sorry, they made the finals that year. You know what I mean? So where else is he going to have success besides the Eastern Conference right now? Considering the Eastern is a lot weak than the Western Conference is. Um,
Valid.
secondly, secondly, the whole weight thing on Luca, that's a bunch of bullshit. I'm sorry. The guy's still putting up 30, 15.
I
You know,
actually favor the organization on that one because you don't necessarily want to make a max investment in a guy who's not max invested in you. Yeah, he scores. He scores a lot. But if we're being fair, it's a two-way game. How much is he giving up on the other side of the court?
Right.
yeah, I mean, that he doesn't play defense.
And that's
You
that's
Right.
problematic because there's a lot of guys that can put the ball in the hoop but
know,
aren't
I,
two-way players, and that's why Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant are who they are, and
oh,
that's why there's a whole bunch of everybody else.
I
But
know that. Who in today's league, plays defense besides, Wimby and, the Greek Freak, you know what I mean? And not many players in
I mean, it's a
today,
different game. It's a high-paced game. Everybody and their mother thinks they can shoot a three now.
yeah.
That goes without saying. But
But I can honestly say that Cuban, you know, uh, he made a business decision.
But lesser role now. Cuban was not really involved. He sold a fat share of that team now because Mark
Yeah.
Cuban was about as surprised as everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, whoever it was that made the call was strictly a business decision. I mean, they obviously don't want to pay the guy 345 million next year, for the next 5 years. That's a business call. It is what it is. I get it, but you're also getting rid of your franchise guy. I don't agree with that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, a lot of people are
Um.
pissed off, and a lot of people are selling their season tickets. We have a
Yeah.
fourth leg joining the party, and good timing because we're about to start hitting back on that Super Bowl. It is Mike Zappi, San
What's
Antonio,
his
Texas.
up?
What's going
Give it to me, zap it.
on? I could take that so many different ways. So
You
All
can.
right,
You can all exactly. You
He'll
can
give it
take
to
it.
you, man.
watch out, man. Brett will pull a Drake on you, bro. He'll sue.
It's true.
Lay a hand on me, I'll sue.
Before we move on, the one thing I want to say about Jimmy Butler, he hates structure.
Yeah,
He was in Chicago
yeah.
with Tibbs. Tibbs is a hard nose. Like, look, we're gonna do it my way. Same in Minnesota. We're gonna do it my
Valid, valid. I mean,
You
This
know,
is his best chance to kind of turn it around for him, his own self, because
yeah,
he's going to be around a organization and a culture that will not
yeah.
tolerate that crap. Because if he thinks he's going to
Draymond ain't
mouth
going
off
for
to
that.
Steve Kerr, or if he's not going to play ball with Steph, so to speak, or try to in any way undermine Steph, Draymond will quickly make sure that he becomes one with him. Draymond don't play that shit. He's an
Not
old
that
school
way.
enforcer in that sense, but it's going to be interesting, boys. The second half of the NBA season is going to be very, very interesting. I only think there's 3 teams in the East that have a legitimate shot of winning the conference. Out West, you could come up with 6 teams possibly.
Yeah.
But we have this big game coming up on Sunday. You know, uh, Philadelphia Eagles, Kansas City Chiefs, how they got here. We already alluded to the fact that Saquon Barkley was all that and then some for the Philadelphia Eagles. He was the missing ingredient. I think they did a great job drafting some serious secondary help to kind of answer the complaints of not only the fan base, but just of people who are seeing it around the league that certain guys are getting old. Darius Slay might be the way out on the way out of this team. James Bradbury a couple of years back, he got the big holding penalty, but he was starting to regress. They go out, they get Cooper DeJean, Kenyon Mitchell, best offensive line in football, in my opinion. And as great as Barkley is, in the event he was injured, I personally think that Will Shipley and Kenneth Gainwell would still be adequate to make things all right. My personal keys to victory for the Philadelphia Eagles, you got to run the offense through 26. But in the event that the Kansas City Chiefs can limit Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts has to throw more than the game plan suggests, I think they will be playing right into the Chiefs' hands. But time of possession is also going to be a big key in this ball game. Not going to give my pick just yet. For the Chiefs, I mean, the Zebras have been a little helpful this year. I'm not gonna just pretend that's not happening. Many a dynasty have gotten help over the years. Montana got calls, Brady got calls. But I think what we're seeing on that metric of it is really upsetting to a lot of NFL fans. And as much as I loathe the Philadelphia Eagles, and believe me, I can't stand that team. I want a fair game because you have a lot more at stake than just being a Giant fan and being like, oh shit, they're catching up, they're halfway there, or a Dallas fan that might not hate them, or a Commander fan that might hate them. You want the integrity of the great sport of football to be upheld. And that's my bottom line with that. I want to see a fair game no matter who wins. When I'm done with my 3.5, 4 hours of watching this thing, I want to know that the team that won should have won because they earned it.
Let me ask you something, boys. So, of all the scrutiny the Chiefs have gotten, all the scrutiny the Patriots have gotten, with their dynasty years, whenever a Super Bowl came up, was there ever an unfair game that was called during that Super Bowl?
You're talking about with the Patriots?
Yes.
I'll say
Well,
one. The
I know
pa-
where he's going.
the Patriots
He's going to NOLA, right where this one's going on.
the Patriots Eagles Super Bowl. I thought there was a lot of calls that went in the Eagles' favor.
Yeah.
I didn't think
But
that what's
both
his name
teams
had that
teams
touchdown catch.
over 500 something yards total offense, didn't they?
Well, I'll be honest with you. In my genuine opinion, I don't think Corey Clement was in the end zone. I think he had his toe on the back white. They got away with that one.
But
Um,
I'm saying
Church
but that was a
play.
wacky game because
what
Tom
I'm
Brady literally had his greatest Super Bowl performance, and he actually lost the game. That was like unheard of. What happened?
but what I'm asking, was there a point in any one of those Super Bowl games, in particular with the Patriots, where there was a call that changed the complexity of the game?
Well, maybe
The
not Super
first
Bowl.
one, if Marshall Falk and his St. Louis teammates claims were of such, they felt that the Patriots, because and the allegations kind of enhanced the legend of it. But when the Rams ditched the playbook and basically just went hurry up, they were
Right.
able to get themselves back into the game. Ultimately, Tom Brady became a legend that day, or was starting to become a legend that day, because he led his team down the field, and the greatest playoff kicker ever kicked you to your first Super Bowl. So if
Right.
there was ever something to question, I would probably say it was that one. And
Oh,
The biggest question. The
I'm not
biggest
saying,
question
I'm not saying
will
question.
be
Brett, I
I'm
just
saying,
gave you your answer.
no, Brett. The biggest question will be for that in regards to that season will always be the tuck rule.
right.
That's the one. That is the one.
No, I agree.
You get rid of that play, the Rams are winning the Super Bowl that year.
If you get rid of that play, a dynasty may have never happened, because we do not know for sure if they wouldn't have gone back to Drew Bledsoe.
Mm-hmm.
That is a very interesting caveat. Would
That's why.
Tom Brady have won elsewhere that early in his career? He wasn't Tom Brady yet, so that will always be a great what if.
Well, that's why I wanted to pick your bands. You know what I mean? So I just, with all the Super Bowls the Patriots have been in, it's calls in general, guys, on the field that were made in order to
If
win.
we're going to really dig hard, Brett, I would go to the AFC title game the year that they did beat the Kansas City Chiefs. That had to be one of the more ticky-tack offside calls, because both teams were doing it for a decent chunk of the game. It was just a
Yeah.
weird time to make that kind of call, given that they didn't make it earlier in the game on either side, because both teams, to be fair, were in the neutral zone multiple times. It was just an
The,
unfortunate time for a call like that to happen. But,
No,
the
2018
yeah,
game.
when you guys beat the Chiefs in Arrowhead in that overtime classic. But
even
Okay.
truthfully,
the
it could have won either way. It really could have won either way. I think the Patriots have been very fortunate. You go
they've been
back to the
very
Charger
fortunate.
game in 06.
The Jaguars game, same thing. They were fortunate to get a call their way, which the Jaguars win that game if they don't get that call.
That is if I'm going to be honest, throughout all the Patriot years, that is the one, the Jacksonville one. That would probably be the one that you really want to think a lot about.
Well,
I would
that's what
say that.
There's
And the
that's what,
officials
that
have
kind of stuff happens in every
notoriously,
game.
and
That stuff
yeah,
happens in every single game. I don't care. Like there's going to be calls for and against. Like I told Idris earlier, that Buffalo Bills game. Everyone wants to talk about that play. The first one on the roughing the pass or whatever. Like
yeah.
the Bills got away with multiple face mask penalties as well that were not called.
that's a valid point, Zappy. I will give you that.
Three face mask penalties. Where if those penalties were called, you're putting at least 9 more points on the board for the Chiefs, at least because they
But I
would have
want
been
to
in
ask
position
you
to
this,
score.
Zappy. I do want to ask you this. Do you feel that NFL fans have a legitimate gripe and something to be heard on, or the NFL in general is concerned that so many people are this vehement about poor officiating, not just for the Chiefs, but in general? I will say this.
No, because I'm going to put it to you this way because I noticed the fans that are complaining the most are two fan bases, the 49ers and the Patriots. 49ers because they are 0-2 against them in the Super Bowl, the Patriots because the Patriots have their dynasty on the line here. They're I mean, they're the most successful 20-year team in NFL history, and the Chiefs are flirting with not only being better than that 20 years, but doing something that first of all, they're the first team to ever make it to the Super Bowl while trying to get to a three-peat. The
The
Patriots never
thing,
did.
the thing that messes with me when I look at a lot of the playoff games, particularly the Super Bowls, I'm sorry, they do get away with a lot of shit. I'm not saying it's why they win. They win because they're better prepared and they have the best coaches in the league.
Yeah,
And having that guy that wears number 15 helps too.
but
But
I'm also going to say this: we are also a product of the evolution of the game. When people bring up highlights of Joe Montana getting hit by Lawrence Taylor or Ronnie Lott laying the stick on Troy Aikman or things like that, that was a different league. If Mahomes and Brady played back during that time, okay, they would be getting hit like that too. If Montana or whoever played during this time, they would not be getting touched either. It doesn't matter if it's Mahomes or whoever, the calls are going to be made. That's just because of the product, because of how.
it's not just the Mahomes thing with playing it smart and evading two Texans hitting into each other. I'm talking about multiple games where the holding penalties just never seem to go against the Chiefs. And I would be a little aggravated if I was a Niners fan. Just my opinion. But having said all that,
but there was also many plays where Chris Jones was being held and that wasn't called. So it's an equal side in my opinion. These refs are human. They are human, and you're not going to catch every play. In order to catch every play, we'd have to have a camera angle on everything in order to catch it.
Yeah, I get that, but there are calls that are blatantly obvious.
They're blatantly obvious to us because we have the luxury of having the camera. That's why they're blatantly obvious to us because we have that luxury. The referees
I'll
don't
be
have that.
honest.
You're
I'll be
standing on the
honest.
field. Have you ever ref the game, Brett? Where
I'll
of
be
grown
honest.
men that are a lot fast. You're watching guys that are running faster than you'll ever think about being and this game happens so
I'll be
fast.
honest. I'll
Zappy,
be honest. I'll be
I
honest.
but
Vegas has too big of a hand in this stuff. No matter what, I know it. I get it, Zappy. But I can't give the referees as much slack as you are. I respect your opinion. I do.
I'm not
I
giving the
just can't.
referee
I just
slack.
can't give these guys that much slack.
I'm
I
not giving
can't
the
do it.
referee slack. Look at my
uh,
headline.
I get it, Zap. But remember when I was losing my shit before the halftime game of the Buffalo KC matchup?
Say that again.
Out the Buffalo KC matchup. I was losing my shit at halftime because KC's play clock ran out before the game clock. They were not charged with a delay of game. And
I
it was,
think the reason. I think the reason why I care so much now, and it's not because I'm an anti-Chiefs or anything. You got too many former players that are really being like, "Yo, this is bad."
Well, and then
PO,
to answer
PO,
that question, Brett, that again goes back to the human element where you look at a lot of the time why aren't delayed of games called when the clock shows zero on TV? Because you have to take the human element into effect. So when the ref sees zero and they're looking up, they also are not looking at the game clock. By the time they look, shows zero on there. That you have to consider the human element when it comes to those kinds of things. It was a split second. Yes, it should have been a delay of game on the Chiefs. I absolutely agree. But there's nothing you can do about it because by the time you see one thing and then try to look at the other, they don't have that luxury we have watching the game on TV again.
I'm just going to agree to disagree with you, Zappy, but I will say this: I want to see a fair game. That's
yes.
all I'm going to say. I want to see a fair game as the game goes. Um, my prediction. Yeah, let me just rip it. I believe that the Philadelphia Eagles have the best offensive line in professional football.
Mm-hmm.
They got to run away from Chris Jones, though, because if there is a matchup that the Chiefs are going to win undeniably, it is that one. Um, I like the Eagles here, and I can't believe I'm saying it. I really can't believe I'm saying it because I keep trying to find a way to make me believe that the Eagles this particular year are not a better team than the Kansas City Chiefs. And truthfully, I don't feel that way. I do think that they have a legitimate weakness compared to Mahomes at quarterback. I don't trust Hurts more than Mahomes. But ultimately, it's going to come down to what got them there. If Saquon doesn't have to have a 200-yard game for them to win, but if
No,
Saquon Barkley can, be the reason why they are able to keep the Chiefs offense off the field and have marathon drives and kind of just work that defense into getting tired, then you're going to have some big play opportunities for AJ Brown and others. Um, I'm going to call it Saquon Barkley for the MVP. Not quite a 200-yard game. But I got Saquon for about 175 all-purpose, somewhere in that neighborhood. Hitting
okay.
Patriot twice, and I believe that the Philadelphia Eagles are also going to win the turnover battle, 2-1. I got the Hurts making one boo boo at least, but give me the Kansas City Chiefs on the losing end and avoiding that three-peat. Give me the Eagles 29. Give me the Kansas City Chiefs 23. This will be in regulation, not in overtime. 29-23 in favor of the Eagles.
Is
I'm
that what you want? Is that what you want the score to be, or is that what you believe the score is going to be?
Why would I want the Eagles to ever have any success, Bretsky? I'm telling you what I think is going to happen.
I'm just asking.
No,
Just
I don't want the Chiefs to lose that bad.
Saquon has a good day on the ground. As long as he stays away from Chris Jones, because we saw what James Cook could do when he got the ball, and James Cook is not Saquon Barkley.
No, sir. And that
I'm
Buffalo
gonna go
defense ain't
Eagles.
the Eagles defense.
Right. I'm gonna go Eagles 31, Chiefs 27.
Damn, we got two Eagles. I'm surprised.
Stop the cheat. No three peat.
And we're both Giant fans, mind you. We call it down the middle here.
Stop the cheat.
I
No
already
three
know.
peat.
I already know which direction Brett's going. Where are we going with this, Brett?
No, go ahead, Zappy. Let me hear your
Oh, he's
take.
picking.
No, I'm gonna go
Brett's picking
last.
Buffalo.
Just like last
Bretzky
year, I
let,
went last after all of you guys picked the Niners.
Bretzky
Yeah,
let
I
her
know,
rip.
but this the third time's the charm. This is gonna be it right here.
This will be the fourth time.
Nah, third time for me.
You talking about over the years, or are you talking about this particular season? Because
Every time the Chiefs have been the underdogs.
the only
This is
Super
my
Bowl
third
I've
one.
gotten wrong since being involved in this podcast stuff was actually picking the Chiefs against the Buccaneers up until
Mine
last year.
was mine
Well,
was
I think
last
we.
year.
Well, I guess you guys know the formula. If Richie picks the Chiefs lose. So meaning, look it. I'm gonna say it to
You
you
see
this
what
way.
I'm doing, don't you? You see what I'm
Yes.
doing, don't
Yeah,
All
you?
right.
reverse it. Yeah.
Look at here. The Eagles have the better offensive line. The Eagles have the better running back. The Eagles have the better wide receivers. The Eagles have the better defense. But they do not have Andy Reid. They do not have Steve Spagnuolo. 3 times the Chiefs have been in the Super Bowl where they were facing a more superior team. The Eagles and the 49ers twice. 4 times Steve Spagnuolo has been a part of a Super Bowl where he was facing the more superior team. The Niners twice, the Eagles, and the 2007 Patriots. Probably the greatest team to never finish. Or no, they are the greatest team to never finish. But each team, no, this is not a shot at you, Brett. Each
I like
team
it anyway.
was led by the greatest defensive mind in football in Steve Spagnuolo.
Yeah.
Around
He
one
is that
player,
dude.
and that's
He
Jalen
is the
Hurts,
creme de la
their
creme of
biggest
defensive
Achilles
coordinators.
heel. And if you're thinking that Saquon's going to go out there and rush for 175 on that defense, no, it's not happening. The Chiefs are going to orchestrate that game for Jalen Hurts to be the reason they win the game, not Saquon Barkley. And I'm sorry, I don't care if you have the players. When you have the best head coach in football today and the best defensive coordinator in football today, not to mention that defense is pretty damn good too. Even as we say it here, the Eagles defense is good. The Chiefs defense always shows up at the most important times. We've seen it time and time again. And then offensively, I said it last year, and it happened the way I said it. I said the 49ers are going to drive down the field, kick a field goal. Mahomes is going to get the ball, drive down the field, score, win the game. It happened a little differently because it happened in overtime, but nevertheless, it still happened that way. I'm going with a similar situation, except this time I think this game's going to be much lower scoring than what we saw, than what you guys think. I think this Eagles offense is going to be shocked. I think they're gonna get punched, and they're going to have to figure out a way to get Saquon going. But this Chief defense will be ready. I think it's going to come down to a final drive by Patrick Mahomes driving the team down the field with Juju Smith-Schuster getting the game-winning touchdown. Give me the Chiefs to win this game 23-17. Give me the Chiefs to be the first team in NFL history to do three-peat. Give me the Chiefs to be the team that we're going to be talking about a four-peat because, believe it or not, boys, this Chiefs team is going to be even better next year once they get their healthy players back.
Oh, Bretzky, what do you got?
Oh, way to butter me up. There's Zappy.
Oh, he knows what he's doing.
You got
Yeah,
No, that
Buffalo
was not a shot.
25.
That is that not a fact? Was Steve Spagnuolo not the defensive coordinator against the
Oh
Patriots
yeah,
that
oh
year?
yeah, oh yeah, no
listen,
doubt, no doubt.
I had my mindset on who I wanted to win this game. I had my mindset.
Oh, we know who you want to win.
Well,
Was it Buffalo, Minnesota?
and this goes back to last year, boys. I betted against the Chiefs all season long. I betted against them in the playoffs, and they took a dump on me. This year,
You see
time
statistics, man.
and betting against them in the playoffs, they proved me, wrong, of course. And it's hard to not say that Zappy's right.
Oh
Like
no! Oh
you,
God, no!
you got the fact, you got Andy Reid.
I don't care if he's right about the game. I just don't agree with him about the officials.
Well, Richie, it is what it is, dude. I've been betting against the Chiefs for the past 2, 3 years, and they proved me wrong every single time.
Don't start. Don't stop now.
Don't stop now, man.
Hey,
Be
if the
consistent.
Eagles
Be
had
consistent.
Tom Brady, the
I'm gonna
Eagles are
stop,
winning that game.
and now I'm gonna bet against the Chiefs because I want the Eagles to win. So I'm gonna say this: I'm picking the Chiefs to
Oh
win.
man.
Say it with the chest out.
I'm picking the Chiefs to win, and this much as I want to, you know, repeat whatever it is. It's history. It's history, but
Boys,
I'm really trying to mind fuck them. So don't take that.
I got a little fact for you guys that's a little strange. You got to hear this. Zappy, you'll appreciate this one.
Oh, is it the East Coast West Coast thing?
Not even. This you're gonna laugh at this though, Zap. Who is the you remember when Steve Spagnuolo was the interim head coach after
Yeah.
Eli got unceremoniously benched for a week in favor of Geno Smith, and then they fired McAdoo and Reese together during the season, which is something the Giants never do. Why am I
Yeah,
bringing this up?
pissed.
Steve Spagnuolo, in addition to all the wonderful things you said about him, Zap, he beat Andy Reid head up late in
Yeah,
the
he
year.
did. He
But
did.
Of course, this was the Alex Smith Chiefs, as Patrick
yeah,
Mahomes didn't play until the final game of the year. We beat Alex Smith's Chiefs. Nonetheless, Steve Spagnuolo actually does have that feather in his cap over his boss, Andy Reid.
and that's why he works for Andy Reid.
Pretty damn cool, right?
But
You know what's
here's
Another
one.
good play,
what's so
Giants.
funny?
Go get Pat
Hey, you know what's
Shermer.
so funny
Don't
about
give
it?
Spagnuolo a chance. Way to go with
But
that.
check this out. Oh, the one thing about Andy Reid, I didn't know he's been coaching for KC for 13 years. It don't seem like it's been that long.
It sure has. It's
But
crazy how time
he's
moves.
got 13 years with the Chiefs, 14 years with the Eagles. He's an all-time winning coach for both teams.
Mm-hmm.
It's been 8 years this week since 28-3. That right there. When I
Yeah,
saw that, I was like, God, it's been 8 years since the
it
28.
don't seem like it either, man.
No, and what's funny about that, Idris, is Kyle Shanahan was involved in two of the biggest implosions,
Hmm.
with the 49ers last year,
Twice with the
with,
49.
excuse me, twice with the 49ers,
Twice,
yeah, because
yeah.
of the Jimmy G Super Bowl as well. The Jimmy
Hmm.
G Super Bowl is a little more forgivable because I don't think the 49ers were nearly as dynamic. But what happened last year, my God, you talk about getting out coached. And then, of course, the debauchery in that 28-3 mess, all you had to do was run the football and take some time off the clock. Freeman was having a hell of a day. Jones was having a hell of a day. But you don't let a guy like Tom Brady get that many chances. I mean, hell, I remember Super Bowl 46. It was actually today. Today's the anniversary of that game. And I'm looking at Brett, and I'm like, he better not score. He cannot fall. No, no, no. And then Bradshaw falls in the end zone, and I'm having like an anxiety attack because I know that Tom Brady is going to get a chance again. And granted, it worked out for us, thankfully, but my God, I say to myself, if Rob Gronkowski was completely healthy, that ball was not far out of his reach.
Well, can I finish my prediction?
Of course you can.
Oh, thanks. I'm gonna say Kansas City 35-33.
Jesus, a high scoring game. Oh my
You got
gosh.
a high scoring game here?
I mean, it was
I
high
mean,
scoring.
mine is somewhat high, but
It was
I feel that
scoring last time they played.
well, we all know that fourth quarters in these games over the last few years, the pace has picked up offensively.
Oh yeah, 100%.
You know what I'm going to be? I can guarantee you guys this. If and when, and I do say when, the game has concluded and Patrick Mahomes is holding up his third Super Bowl MVP, and the Chiefs
I
are,
know why
I'm
Zappy's
sorry, I'm
enjoying
sorry,
this so
I'm
much.
sorry, fourth Super Bowl MVP, and when they become the first team in NFL history, you know what's going to be the first thing I say on social media and everything? It's not
Mm.
going to be against Tom Brady. I'm gonna be the first to welcome the Philadelphia Eagles into the company of having 4 Super Bowl losses. That's what I'm gonna be saying.
Mhm.
Because, as we know, only
Oh
one team
man.
has lost 4 in a row in the AFC. One team has lost 4 Super Bowls and never won one. But they'd be the next team to have 4 Super Bowl losses, and the one after that would be the Niners. I guarantee it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Let me issue a disclaimer right now. Aaron Moorhead, Saquon Barkley, the comments of Mike Zappi does not represent the Richie Hicks Junior Sports Podcast. Richie Hicks, he just allowed Brett Bandit.
Two,
Hey,
two, two.
hey, Saquon has only been a part of that for one, and Aaron Moorhead has only been a part of one of those losses. So, but that
I just want,
franchise, that
I just
franchise
want to put that.
will have 4
Yeah,
losses.
I just want to put out the disclaimer. That's all.
So in other words, you're saying that we're in a no-lose situation because if Mahomes keeps winning, that guy over Brett's shoulder might get written out as the GOAT.
No, not at
It's
all.
already starting.
Not at all.
It's already starting.
Not
I,
already
I,
started.
I think you have to win one more.
Well,
No,
I mean, if he wins
He
3 in a
doesn't. I'll
row,
put it to you like this, boys. He doesn't have to win 7 to be the
No,
GOAT.
no, he don't have to win seven.
If
Nah,
he
nah.
if he crushes him statistically and he three-peats, I will say that right now.
and
That, that's
think
that's how I
about this,
feel.
boys. We always say that the Cowboys of the '90s should have been the first team to three-peat or win 4 Super Bowls in 5 years,
They
whatever the
had no
case.
weaknesses, dude. That what
No,
ruined them was Jerry Jones.
and yeah, it was Jerry Jones. The Chiefs do not have Jerry Jones.
Nah,
They have Andy Reid. They're gonna be there for the next 5 years.
I
They're
agree.
gonna be there.
Zappy, I
That
do want to
'90s
ask you a
Cowboys
question.
team, that Cowboys team. I'll be honest with you. I think they should have won like 5 in a row or
Yeah,
more. They should have
problem.
won because they were getting stronger and stronger each year.
I do want to ask you this, Zappy. I do want to ask you this, and I think you'll probably give me the answer that I believe to be true. Deion Sanders played for both teams during that great rivalry. Was he more important to the Cowboys or more important to the 49ers?
the Niners.
Bingo.
Nah,
Bingo.
100. We already the Cowboys were back-to-back Super Bowl winners. They
yeah,
couldn't
they
beat the
already won. Yeah.
Cowboys. The
Quick
Oddly
question.
Niners
enough,
needed that.
Michael Irvin lit him up in
Yeah.
that title game you guys lost. Unfortunately,
Mhm.
you guys got off to that horrendous first quarter, or you might have beat them again that year.
Quick question before we finish in 5 minutes.
Go ahead.
Who who is the MVP?
Yeah, Zach,
I'm
who's
going
your
Saquon
MVP?
Barkley. If
it's
Casey
yeah.
wins,
I'm going
it's gonna
2-6.
be
I'm going to agree with
Mahomes.
Idris on that. I do believe that if the Eagles win this game, it will be Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, I agree too. If the Eagles win, it's Saquon. If the Chiefs win, it's gonna be Mahomes.
It's got to be Mahomes. It's got to be
Yeah, hard
Mahomes.
to argue that it wouldn't be him because he does so much of what they do. The only way that it's not Mahomes is if the Chiefs defense has a performance similar to what the Ravens did to the Giants, or going way back to Aaron's dad, what his what those Chicago Bears did to the Patriots. Like it
Or
would have to be that kind of
Or
defensive
Legion of Boom,
performance.
but they
or
did
no, or
Peyton.
you know what it'll be if the Chiefs do exactly what I say, and Jalen Hurts turns into Neil O'Donnell, and another Brown is born.
Oh man. Hey,
And all
hey, Zappy. Leo Dollar really thought he was the shit too.
He was a cocky dude.
he really
He
was,
thought
but
he
I
was
mean,
the shit.
like he
But
was
what's
seeing
up with
ghosts
the
out there,
Jets?
and
And
that's
what's
why
up
I
with the
say that
Jets taking all these rejects from the Steelers and thinking that they got something? They did it with Bell. They did it with O'Donnell.
They love it, man.
Tommy Maddox.
Then they get a
Tommy
quarterback
Maddox.
that beat the Steelers in the Super Bowl, and now look at them. You would have
Hey,
been
Yeah,
better
Tommy
off
Maddox
playing
is way
Tyrod Taylor.
gone.
that's honestly the only way I see it not being Mahomes is if the Chiefs do go with the game plan I think they're going to do and take the ball out of Barkley's hand and force Jalen Hurts to beat them.
Mm-hmm.
I have to see it done. Nobody has been able to stop the Saquon Barkley rushing attack truly this year. I have to see it done. And as far as I'm concerned, until somebody does it, as much as I don't like that team, the Philadelphia Eagles have been the best rushing team in the league, and Saquon Barkley has been playing on a different, just in a different place. But if anybody's going to shut him down, it's going to be the master. You made all the
Yeah.
points for Spagnola, Zappy, and all
Oh
of them
yeah,
are true.
definitely.
All of them are
They
true.
all them too.
I'm going to give you KC's MVP.
All right.
Mahomes.
Harrison Bucker.
Hopkins.
He got the hit.
I think
Who?
he's. I definitely think he's the X factor for that offense.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
to get just to incite Zappy one last time, if the Chiefs do indeed win, it's probably going to be one of the officials. I'm just kidding, guys. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
No, you're
It
not.
is
No, you're
Patrick
not.
Mahomes. He makes the
No, you're
plays
not.
You're not kidding. But yeah,
to a level. I get
The,
Zappy's
the,
point too. It just seems like sometimes it's too much.
yeah,
like
but it's the unofficial Philadelphia Eagles chant, and two people know about it. Stop the cheat, no three-peat. Not
uh,
fly Eagles, not fly Eagles fly. Stop the cheat, no repeat.
In the
Mahomes
No
did,
words of the
three-peat.
late great Pat Summerall, there will
Oh
be
yeah.
no three-peat, at least
Hey,
in my opinion.
you know what
But if
though?
there is a three-peat, I'm not going to cry about this.
I
The Eagles
Nah,
will
nah, nah,
indeed
nah.
join the Vikings as four-time Super Bowl losers and the Buffalo Bills as well.
but Idris, I'll ask you.
Disclaimer: the
I'll ask you
comments
this.
of Richie Hicks and Mike Zappi does not necessarily represent Brett Bandit or Idris Salah.
Look, no, Idris,
You
I
want to
want
get
to
into
ask
that next,
you,
Brett?
Idris.
Yo, nah,
You've been a part.
I'm clowning Zappy.
No, I know, no, but
I'm with your argument. What you're saying, for real.
no.
Yeah,
You've witnessed more back-to-back Super Bowl champions than, as far as remembering, than Richie and I have,
yeah,
or Brett.
uh huh.
And you're obviously the senior of the panel.
Mhm.
My thought process is, I want to see it happen one time, and I can't think of another team right now. Obviously, yeah, I would want my Cowboys, but that's not going to happen. Um, Richie would love for it to be his Giants. Right now, that's not going to happen. And
I
Brett
just
would
want
love it.
back-to-back for crying out loud. Can we do
We
that? We
can't even
should have
get
had that
back
in
to back.
'08 and
Yeah,
in
We
so
can't even
that
get
'87
back
that's
to
my
back
and in
receiving
'87 were
games.
it not for the strike. Damn it,
We can't even
Plax.
win.
Damn it,
making.
Plax.
We
Hey,
can't win
the last
regular
time we saw
season
a
games
back to
back to
back,
back, dude.
yeah, and the last time we saw a back to back champion was 20 years ago with the Patriots.
Yeah,
Like,
in my
I want
in
to
my
see
first
it
one.
happen.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
want to see it
to
happen
be honest with you,
once.
Rich, be honest with you, that it would be great to see because I've never seen it. I saw the Steelers almost do it. I seen that Landry's Cowboys almost do it, and I seen I seen the 49ers almost. I see all of them almost do it. Now I did see a couple of teams lose a few Super Bowls in a row, Minnesota,
You know
Buffalo.
why I
You know,
don't want it to happen? Maybe I'm just being an old head right
mine
now,
is
but
away
my,
from
my
football.
point is I feel that the Cowboys of the 90s and I feel that the 49ers of the first season of the 90s, late 80s into the 90s
Mhm.
were both better teams than the Chiefs, and that's super debatable, and everybody's entitled to debate. Just my opinion, because were it not for Leonard Marshall wiping out Joe Montana, it is very unlikely that the New York Giants would have been able to pull that off. And if we're
You
going to
know,
talk about the Cowboys, it all started on the inside. If Jerry Jones didn't do what Jerry Jones does, Jimmy Johnson would have never coached another team in the NFL, and he would have
mhm.
been revered the way that Andy Reid, Bill Belichick, and Vince Lombardi are.
with the Chiefs, if they wanted to get the 3-peat, of course the 3-peat is great, but I would think them winning this Super Bowl would be the best one of all. Reason being, this was not a strong team.
I
They
would think.
had,
No,
also,
coaching has come through so many times this
yeah,
season.
yeah. Look how they had to shuffle running back, you
I
know,
would have thought
and
That
last
was
and
the
I
kickers, dude. Look at the kickers.
yeah, and see the thing is, this Philadelphia team is loaded on both sides of the ball. They beat this Philly team. You got to when it comes, they have to be the dynasty. They got to go up there with those two Packer teams prior to the Super Bowl. They have to be. Mahomes, I wouldn't give him the go on yet because I got to see him put the stats up. Even if he doesn't get the Super Bowl, put the stats up. He got to beat Brady in something. He got the 3-peat. But I would put him at 1A because of what he's done with the team. Yeah, he had good coaching, great coaching,
Well,
but
I
you
got
still got to
little
go out
something
there
for
and
all of
play.
you guys. The
What's
two
up?
greatest quarterbacks in most people's opinions,
Mm-hmm.
Joe Montana, Tom Brady.
Yeah.
I'm pleased to say that I was able to see my team beat both of them in my lifetime. Those are the two greatest quarterbacks in terms of winning, in my
Yes,
opinion.
sir. Yep.
So now
We did. Oh
will
yeah.
will Patrick Mahomes stick around long enough for the Giants to beat him? That would be something.
I
No,
got I
we
gotta
don't.
I
We
gotta
don't
ask
have
my
no
great I gotta
dynasty.
ask my great grandson.
I mean, listen,
We don't have no dynasty, but we sure know how to beat the best.
Rich.
Well, right now I am the ancestor of the person who will see it happen. So
The ref.
we might be talking another 100 years.
The
Damn,
fact
dog.
the fact that you guys don't have Shane Falco and Uncle Rico as the greatest quarterbacks ever makes your opinions like moot. Like
Oh,
it's no.
I mean, but they're in the top 10 though.
What about the great
Especially
Joe
Rico.
Montana?
Joe Montana, yeah, he's number 3. Like no, it's
Not to
Uncle
mention
Rico.
Johnny Moxon. I mean, a guy who just
Oh,
had all kinds
you
of
got
great.
you got Scam Newton. What about that guy? You
Bro, don't
know,
get me started on Cam. I'll be here for another hour. Cam,
Tom
Tom
Cam's
Marino
Brady's
bit.
getting in
in
the
the
Hall of
top
Fame
10 of
before
greatest
you.
quarterbacks of all time.
You say what was that?
I
What
said Tom
about?
Brady's not even in the conversation of greatest quarterbacks of all time.
He is.
I'll give you guys a laundry
Hold
list
up.
of quarterbacks, but Shane Falco will always be number 1.
He's a college quarterback.
Hey, I mean, he played quarterback, right? Hey, Brett, you know your picture looks like you on the there you go. Just showing your nose and your lips. It's like you're on like a like a porn cam or something.
No,
Well,
he's got
we might
another
need to
fan
end.
base too. That's a
We might
whole
need
other
to end the show, Rich.
conversation for another day.
Yeah, we might
Until
need to
next
end the
time,
show.
he is Idris. He is Zappy. He is Bretsky. I am Richie. Thank you guys so much for hanging with us to speak on just the happenings. And boys, thanks for entertaining the ever living shit out of me, because between me and Zappy just going into high octane detail about of what the refs are doing, and with Zappy trying to bait Brett's getting better at not getting totally baited. If you want to
For
see Brett
real,
have a temper tantrum, though, go into the
you gotta go.
catalog
You
and
gotta go
look at
to
the
the catalog
AFC
for that
East
one.
preview of 2 years ago. If you want to see Brett Bandit just really, really
Just
get
look at the
mad.
whole season. The whole season. The whole season.
If you want to see Brett get really, really mad, AFC East preview 2 years ago, when Zappy and I, according to Brett, were in collusion, we were just like-minded. And Brett really thinks that we were setting him up there.
You were setting me up. That's bullshit. You were setting me up.
Boys, great job.
Yeah.
Until next time, we are out. Enjoy the Super Bowl. And don't be surprised if you see my mug in front of a camera before game day to talk a little more. We out.